And good morning, everybody. Welcome Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, we can finally set our schedules for Saturday.
Yeah, going to play at 2:30 on Saturday, as we expected. Weird game last night. C.J. Stroud could not have looked worse in the first half of that game. But, man, that Houston defense is just on another level, and they were able to control the game pretty nicely with that defense. So that becomes an intriguing game going to New England. Would you at least give me intriguing on that one?
Absolutely. You have two great defenses.
Right.
And the Broncos have a great defense in the other game.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm looking forward to it this weekend. We should have 4 games, 2 and 2, Saturday and Sunday, that really are pretty good bangers. So looking forward to it.
By the way, I am not a fan of Aaron Rodgers pretty much on any level. But I got to tell you something. I felt badly for the guy.
Yeah.
With the way his career has likely ended. I don't know what was more painful watching sitting on my couch. Justin Herbert getting beaten up or Aaron Rodgers at 42 getting beaten up. I mean, I was just waiting for Rodgers to snap and candy to fall out of him.
The Justin Herbert thing, probably we need to discuss at some point, because I can't quite figure that one out. I know you like him. I like him.
No, I mean, I'm not as crazy about him as most people think. At the end of the day, you got to win playoff games.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
But you can't fault a guy who has been beaten up the entire season because for the most part and for most of the season, he has not had his 2 tackles.
No, and he's been available. He missed the one game against the Broncos because of a coach's decision. I mean, so he's tough as nails.
Yep.
He's always there for his team, but he was poor in that game. I mean, he just did not play well in that game. And New England made him look bad. I give credit where it's due. I certainly don't want to misspeak in that regard, but my God, that's a guy that should be, by virtually any kind of measure, should be much better in the postseason than he has been, because he's really been an outstanding regular season quarterback, and he's been that kind of quarterback that if you had a chance to take Justin Herbert, you probably would, unless you had one of the top 4 or 5 tiered quarterbacks, in the NFL. Justin Herbert would be a guy that you'd probably take, but my God, his failure. His inability to win in the postseason.
I'm not counting the last game. Listen, when I hear the phrase "Charger gonna Charger," that means they blow leads.
Right.
To me, Charger gonna Charger means they always have key injuries.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Jacksonville loss 2 years ago. That was a Charger got a Charger kind of moment. New England just kind of took it to them. And we're the better team, right? So, yeah. But it's an interesting phenomena, and it leaves Justin Herbert in kind of an interesting situation on level of trust that you have for him, because he's got enough years now where he may end up being the guy that he is, right? And
let's take a step back. Okay. They lost to Jacksonville. What was the score before the comeback?
Oh, it was like 31-3 or 28-3 or something like that at the half.
Explain to me how that's on Justin Herbert after putting up all those points.
Well, no, I hear you on that, and I'm not saying that it's on Justin Herbert, but I think that fair or unfair, do you win those games or do you lose those games? And you and I have both casually said, when talking about quarters, you got to win quarterbacks. You got to win playoff games. And almost, and it's a duh. I mean,
but we're
win playoff games.
Bruce, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this.
Right.
We can look at all of his losses and say he's lost X number of games, never won a playoff game. But you have to look at each game by itself and say, why did they lose? Did they lose that game because of Justin Herbert against Jacksonville? They put up a ton of points. Defense collapsed.
Yeah.
In the game that we just saw, you're missing your starting running back who played one snap, Omari Hampton?
Yeah.
You're playing with a backup and you're missing your top 2 tackles.
Yeah.
Every story is different.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of combining it all and saying he's lost all these playoff games, maybe there are reasons why. And can you really point the finger at Justin Herbert? It's kind of like saying Josh Allen's never been to the Super Bowl. Have we really looked at how Josh Allen has played in all of those games?
Right.
He is arguably the greatest postseason quarterback of all time, statistically. Yards, rushing for a quarterback, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
There are other, if we want to play the game, football is a team game and it's not just about the quarterback, then I think that's the route that we take. It is a team game. I'm not putting many of those losses on Josh Allen.
Right.
And dynamite. I'm not going to put all of those losses on Justin Herbert. Clearly he plays a role, but he doesn't play defense and he had nobody to block for him.
Yeah. He's still a top 10 quarterback for me, and there's nothing that moves the arrow. It's just an interesting – it's interesting how things kind of follow some guys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you are absolutely right. And you sound like me talking almost about each game being an individual story, but I couldn't agree with you more. You're right on target. There's always the individual story of how those 60 minutes are played out and the factors that lead you to that. There's no question about that. But it's interesting how with some quarterbacks, Dan Marino is a really good example. It just kind of follows you around for a career. I mean, for the longest time, we've got an example of it in John Elway. I mean, John Elway just couldn't get to that moment of winning a Super Bowl, for instance. Now he won some AFC championship games that were pretty damn cool and that were pretty damn clutch, right? Yep. But it's just interesting, the storylines of certain players whose greatness is unquestioned. Dan Marino is the perfect example of that. His greatness is unquestioned, but he doesn't have the kind of storyline that other players are going to have. Even a Terry Bradshaw or certainly a Patrick Mahomes. You just have different kind of storylines that follow a quarterback that kind of define their career, whether it's fair or not.
Dan Marino never had a decent running back.
No, ever. Not really.
And he was very quick with Don Shula to drop the running game completely early in the game.
Yeah, you're right.
And want to sling it all over the field. Yeah. And then you become one-dimensional, and then you get your ears pinned back. But then again, when you have a guy like Marino with such a quick release, he can overcome some of that, but he can't overcome all of that. With that, I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years. Tomorrow, City of Aurora is having an impounded auction featuring trucks, cars, SUVs, 4x4s, trailers, and more. Bidding has started at rollerauction.com. Learn about upcoming auctions at rollerauction.com. A lot of great ones coming up. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
During playoff week, are we not going to lead with the Broncos? However, big story coming out of Boulder last night. Jordan Seaton, Buffs offensive tackle, is entering the transfer portal after just 2 years in Boulder. So, Bruce, whether he left for more NIL money, whether he wanted to play for a better team, whether he didn't believe in the direction of Deion Sanders, whether he wanted to improve his draft stock by playing with a better team, at the end of the day, for Deion Sanders, Jordan Seaton was the top recruit in Boulder in probably a decade. He was the shining light of, look at how Deion Sanders has turned this program around. With all of that said, no matter what narrative you want to believe, this is a punch to the throat for Deion Sanders and this team, considering he was the 5-star recruit that was going to put the Buffs back to not only respectability, but hopefully for a national championship.
It's a tough one via optics, and it's a tough one in reality, in practicality, in the talent or lack of talent you have on this football team.
Yeah.
Consider that Colorado had two first-team players last year in the Big 12. They were tied with Oklahoma State for the fewest all Big 12 players last season. Robert Seaton was one of them. Both of those players, by the way, now are in the transfer portal for the University of Colorado, which is 62nd right now on the 247 recruiting board nationally for college football, 13th in the Big 12. But even from a practical standpoint, this is much bigger from an optics standpoint.
Correct.
That's the thing that shook me on this. And there had been indications over the last week, 10 days or so, that this could be in the offing. If you read between the lines, and other people did, I read them. But anyway, this isn't a good moment for Deion Sanders and the you know where to find me tour of the University of Colorado football. So and there's urgency at Colorado now. Look, you're paying this guy what, $10 million a year, and you are coming off a 3-9 football season, and there are some real questions in my mind. I don't know about others, some real questions about the direction of this program. This is the last time I'm going to say this. We all understand the difference that Deion Sanders has made in the program. All of those residuals are wonderful, great. You get your flowers for them. But what did we say 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year? At the end of the day, the only thing that anyone cares about during the season and college football is, are you winning football games? That is where we are ultimately with the University of Colorado and Deion Sanders. And the answer right now is no, we're not winning football games. And by the metrics that we have available to us at this particular point, it may be difficult for them to win football games coming up this season at the very least. It remains to be seen. But new athletic director, new direction right now. It's an interesting time for Colorado football.
Okay, I want to throw something else at you. Here's another reason why Seaton might have left. He wanted to play on the same team as his cousin, Javon McFadden, who left Ohio State for the transfer portal. When McFadden, who was a 4-star high school recruit, announced on X last week that he was leaving,
right,
Seaton quote tweeted, "You want to play together?" This led to rampant speculation that Seaton would recruit McFadden to Colorado. Now, I understand this is speculation on my part because we don't have the answer. Only Jordan Seaton and his close circle of friends knows this, his circle of trust, so to speak. Okay. Do you think Seaton is leaving because he wants to play with his cousin, but was not able to convince his cousin to join the Buffs?
Probably that. Probably.
Now, why did this kid not want to play for Colorado?
Well,
maybe he wasn't going to get enough NIL money. So I think there are a lot of different narratives out there on why he's leaving. And again, only Seaton and his close circle of friends knows. But the bottom line is this: until this becomes public and we actually know, to your point, to put a ribbon on this whole conversation, no matter what, until the truth comes out, and even if the truth comes out, it could be a bad look. The optics are terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, that's the big takeaway. And the larger takeaway is a conversation for another day, is where we are with college football, the lack of guardrails. There's a goodness about college football, but man, there is no more quaintness about college football. And at some point, there's got to be some guardrails for the way that the operations in college football continue to play out. It's insane right now. And someone needs to desperately get a hold of it, because everything that's great about college football, and obviously you've got and I say this right now, with one of the greatest stories in college football history,
the greatest,
about to be written on Monday night, because I think Indiana will become the national champion. So you have that story going on that helps to counterbalance the concerns that I have about college football moving forward. But the concerns are, it's not sustainable. It's out of control. The lunatics are running the asylum. There are no guardrails for college football as we know it. And at some point, you've got to step forward and say, okay, we can't do this the way that we've done it. It's great that youngsters are being paid. It was far too long for us to get to that, but we need to pull back a little bit. There's got to be some transfer rules. There's got to be, and I believe what I have believed from the very beginning, I think that there has to be contracts. I think there has to be unionization, collective bargaining. I think that youngsters have got to have contracts with schools. It doesn't have to be 4 or 5 years. You can do it for certain number of years, but I think that those are things that have to be in place.
Well, wait a minute. Here's the problem with the contracts. Is it only going to be for football? Because Title IXers are going to come out and say there need to be contracts for the ladies too, or men's cross country, or the non-revenue sports. How do you split that up?
Haven't gotten that far, but I know one thing.
Let me know when you get there.
But here's what I do know.
Yeah.
Football at the college level is a $1 billion industry. Billions of dollars industry.
You know what the problem is, Bruce? With all the money, all the billions, the people who get the money first don't want this to become socialism where they are passing it off to other people.
Yeah.
They want the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very.
This isn't trickle-down economics here.
No.
Where everybody gets to be paid.
You're right. Absolutely.
Right. It's funny in trickle-down economics. The idea is that you give big tax breaks to wealthy business owners, and the assumption is they're going to reinvest in their project. No, they're just buying another yacht.
Yeah, absolutely. I have the greatest question for me in sports. In sports, as we sit here today in 2026, is what college sports, and in particular college football, is going to look like in 5 years. To me, it's the biggest question, and that I don't have the faintest notion. But I would imagine that there is going to have to be some form of athletes becoming employees to some degree of the universities. I don't know how else it can go forward at this point. I don't know.
Coming up after the break, the Broncos have gotten some good news heading into Saturday's game against Buffalo, and the Bills, while they've gotten some good news, the majority of it is bad. That's next.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hottakes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Sasquatch and Wildcard are the best casinos to play in Blackhawk. They've got really loose slots, daily cash drawings, and the best promotions. Sasquatch and Wildcard have given away cars, trucks, and recreational vehicles. And if you don't want them, no problem. They'll give you the cash value instead. Who does that? No one in Blackhawk. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Time now for What's Trending.
What's trending on Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl? Brought to you by Mile High Sports.
All right, Broncos had a chance to get healthy over the last week. Biggest addition to the lineup most likely will be Dre Greenlaw. In the meantime, Bills got banged up against the Jaguars. That was a rock fight, a very physical game. Gabe Davis is out for the season. Josh Allen went to the blue tent a couple of times in the Jacksonville game. Safety Josh Poyer is out for the game with a hamstring injury. Their 4th leading tackler, Terrell Bernard, didn't play against the Jags. Chances are he is not going to play on Saturday. However, the Bills are expecting defensive tackle Ed Oliver and wide receiver Curtis Samuel back in the lineup as they have been out with injuries. Considering the Bills are banged up, and according to Sean Payton, the Broncos are relatively healthy. How much does this move the needle for you on picking the Broncos?
Ed Oliver coming back is a big deal. That's a really good football player.
Yes.
Not a decent guy. He's a damn good football player.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that one helps. Look, those are things. Those are more things that kind of calm me when I'm looking at this matchup. It starts with them being at home. It starts with them playing at Mile High. It starts with the altitude. It goes on with the quick turnaround for the Bills, who went down to Jacksonville, then back to Buffalo, and now we're going to be coming to Denver, and they're going to be playing at 5,280 feet. Blah blah. All of those things, kind of combine to make this a tough matchup, obviously for the Buffalo Bills, but. Yes, if the Broncos are getting more healthy, then it stands to reason that it's an advantage for Sean Payton because he's got more pieces to play with. Getting Dre Greenlaw back is a big deal.
Huge.
It's a big deal. He's great in the middle and he can cover, even though, Josh Jacobs made an unbelievable catch on him in the Packers game. Just look how good the coverage was. I mean, that was a great ball thrown by Jordan Love and a great catch made by Josh Jacobs. But Dre Greenlaw can really cover guys down the field, and that makes him a tremendous player to have. So, yeah, I think it bodes well, again, for the Broncos, that if you get into this thing, you don't have to squint to see how the Broncos can win this football game. It's very interesting to me, Eric, and I think a lot of it has to do with the Josh Allen factor. How many people are kind of just throwing up their hands saying, well, Buffalo, this is Buffalo's game to win. I understand how people can be kind of flippant about that because of Josh Allen. But if it's just because of Josh Allen, we need to have a conversation. There are other things that the Bills do that I do like. I do like their running game a lot.
Yeah. What's there not to like?
Exactly. But the Broncos have plenty on the table in this thing that give them a chance to succeed.
With that, the phrase, familiar narrative, team getting the bye, rest versus rest. Are you concerned about the Broncos coming out a little disjointed offensively, and they've looked disjointed for over 50% of the season? Or does it worry you considering rest, or it doesn't worry you considering that rest allows guys to heal, like a Garrett Bowles, like a John Franklin Myers? The rest versus rust thing.
I'll take the rest.
Yeah.
Because the rust has been there all season.
Wow.
Really.
Wow.
It has at various times. Now, there have been times when they've come out of the gate quickly, but far fewer times than they've come out of the gate quickly, right? They've come out slowly, much more than they have quickly. So I would say that the challenge for the Broncos offense is always getting off to a decent start. I don't think it has anything to do with having a little extra time off. I think it's been a question for them all season, in fairness. Now, see, where I depart is, slow start, but this has been a good enough offense to get done what you need to get done with. You don't get to 14-3 without a serviceable offense. And maybe that's where I would have this offense. Serviceable most of the time. It can be outstanding some of the time.
Right.
Now, you probably would want to get a little closer to the outstanding most of the time in this game. But, 17 games in, I think that you look at the Broncos offense and you pretty much understand what you have or what you don't have. I think a lot of it will depend on their ability to run the ball, which is a proven thing against Buffalo, and Bo Nix's ability to make plays with his feet, with his arm, whatever the case may be, because you're going to have to score points in this game.
Allow me to use my alma mater as a verb. The Broncos offense is not going to Indiana anybody.
No.
Consistently.
No.
It's just not going to happen. This is who they are heading into the playoffs. But with that, Sean Payton has called conservative game plans and close wins over the Chiefs. And a close win, not really a close win, but they only scored 4 field goals against the Chargers, and they were depleted as well. How much do you think Payton is going to be more aggressive against a Josh Allen offense that no matter how good the Broncos defense is, the Bills are still going to score points and probably more than a few?
Well, you just answered the question with that last statement of truth. And the fact is the Bills, it would be difficult for me to see a world where they don't score points. That's just the kind of game that it's going to be. And Sean has already talked about the kind of you better not blink factor of a playoff game. You only have 60 minutes. Now it's played out over 3 hours, but you've got 60 minutes of decisions to make, and some of them have to be made very quickly. Like here, this is a game, for instance, you do not want to get down early in because Buffalo can grind with the running game, and you've got to keep pace. So Sean, over the course of the season and over the course of the 3 years, has educated us very nicely to You play the game that you have in front of you. And if you can't dictate the pace, you have to play by the pace that is dictated to you by. And you've got to be willing to go at a team, punch for punch. So we'll find out. It'll be a battle of wills early in trying to establish a pace. But once that pace is established, you've got to play by it. And sometimes that means you got to go out and you got to throw a little bit more caution to the wind, and you've got to throw the ball downfield and do some things differently than maybe you would have liked to, for instance, like you did against the Chargers, get up 10-0 and know that you didn't have a quarterback playing against you that could beat you. Guess what? You've got the best player left in the playoffs facing you in this game. Josh Allen is the best player, I think, in the playoffs, AFC, NFC, still playing.
Is it unfair to say that Nix needs to outplay Allen? And is it unfair to say that it's Nix versus Allen? And that's always the narrative that is built in.
Yeah.
But for Nix, is it sort of that way? Even though it's not Nix versus Allen. For Nix, I think it is, yeah. For Allen, it really isn't.
Well, we just had a conversation about Justin Herbert and how the game plays out around him, that it can't always be just on Justin Herbert. There are other factors that play in this game. Here's the key, and I'm getting to your question. The key for me is, can the Broncos defensively hold Josh Allen in check? If the answer to that is yes, then Bo Nix becomes even more important in his ability to create points. Is it Josh Allen and Bo Nix against Josh Allen? Of course, there's part of that dynamic.
True.
The irony is that they will not face each other ever on any particular play on the field, but they will be running their team's respective offenses. So there will be obvious comparisons made just by that alone. But the answer to it, no, it's not Bo Nix against Josh Allen. It's Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos and the things that the Broncos bring to it. Because the one advantage they have in this game is who's got the best defense on the field? It's the Broncos. The Broncos have the best defense on the field. So in any way that this thing plays out, to me, it starts with the Broncos defense. Did the Broncos defense do what they had to do to deliver a win for this football team? That's what they've been all season long, and all season long they have generally delivered.
You and I both watched the Chargers game recently against the Patriots. Chris Collinsworth brought up a really good point early on in the game. And he said, whichever quarterback has the better rushing game will win. Now, it was Drake May.
Yeah.
By far. Is that the case on Saturday?
Well, the Bills are going to have the better rushing game.
No. I'm talking. No, it had to do with the quarterbacks.
Oh, with the quarterbacks, whichever
quarterback, whether it's Drake May or Justin Herbert, whoever has a better running game between those two quarterbacks will win the game, and it turned out that way. In this case, I'm hoping what I'm about to say is true, but I don't know if it is. Bo Nix ran this season for sure. But there were a lot of games in which he just did not. We did see that in the Chargers game in which he ran. Does Sean Payton need to say, okay, we're in the playoffs. We're not playing tomorrow if we lose. Bo, if you got it, take it. Certainly protect yourself, but we can't be conservative with him when he has the ball in his hands and nothing is open downfield and he needs to take off.
Yes. I think that has to be a very direct component of the Broncos.
Because we haven't seen that consistently this season where you're like, Bo, run, and he doesn't. And we're thinking maybe Sean's kind of holding him back saying, run if you absolutely have to, but we're not going to do a lot of designed runs and things like that. It feels like Bo has protected himself. Sean has protected him. Don't run as much, even though I know you can. But in this particular game, now that it's the playoffs, Bo, you do what you need to do.
I think that if you really want to simplify things, the whole concept of taking what the defense gives you is front and center here. The Broncos have, or the Bills have been much less consistent. They've been good, but they've been much less consistent than the Broncos have been defensively. In that you're not quite sure what you're going to get from them every single week. Now, the Broncos have had a couple of those sprinkled in, right? I mean, I'm not going to absolve them of everything. They've had a couple of those, but fewer. You generally go into this game, and you never know how it's going to play out, thinking that the Broncos have the more trustworthy defense in this matchup. So that means that I think there's going to be some room to be creative and to attack the Bills. And most of that historically has come running the football against them. Can you run the football against them? Can you do what Jacksonville did and do more of it? They ran outside zone stuff against them. Can you do that consistently? Is that a weakness of this defense? So, and the pressure that they get, how much can you relieve pressure by Bo Nix running the football, seeing lanes, feeling lanes, as he likes to talk about? I think it'll be a big component to this football game, because I do think that all bets are off. You're doing whatever that you can do to win this football game. This 60 minutes is it. It doesn't make any difference what's next week. It doesn't make any difference who you play. You got to win this game to play the next game. And so, yeah, I don't think that. I think everything is on the table in this football game.
The Bills wide receiver core, for the most part, is more of a who's that than a who's who. However, their strength in terms of Shakir's really good. Don't get me wrong. I like
Shakir a lot. I do. Yeah.
Okay. With that, the Broncos have had their challenges covering running backs and tight ends. Yep. With Dre Greenlaw back, that's certainly going to help. But you have Kincaid, Dawson Knox, both can catch the ball, and then you have James Cook, who is an excellent pass catcher. How big of a concern is this? Then by the way, throw in that James Cook can rip off 100 in a lot of games, and Josh Allen is a huge threat as well running the ball.
Yeah, there are red flags all over the field for the Bills, even in the physical situation that they're in. They've just got playmakers. They've got a great playmaker, one of the best in the NFL at running back. They have a very capable offensive front. They do give up pressures and they do give up sacks. That could be a very interesting part of this football game. We talked about this yesterday, that it's one thing to get to Josh Allen. It's another thing to get Josh Allen on his fanny. He doesn't go down easy. He's one of those guys that is just big and strong with a wide base. He's got great peripheral vision. He senses pressure when it's coming, and he is a guy that will get out and go, and he can beat you that way. So it's going to be a huge component in the game, how you cage rush a guy like Josh Allen and negate some of the things that he can do off platform, off schedule. That is really key. But hey, the Bills have all of the pieces to create issues and pressure this Broncos defense. And it starts with the running game. It really does.
For as mobile as Josh Allen is, he gets sacked quite a bit.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, after he took 2 trips to the blue tent, and if you look at Josh Allen like a tree and you're trying to knock over the tree, did the Jaguars do the Broncos a huge favor by taking half of the tree out? meaning
yeah.
this guy, it's a short week, right?
Yeah.
He's banged up. And now the Jaguars have set up the Broncos defense to knock out Josh Allen with all of the hits that he has taken. It's kind of like when we talk about running backs. You only have so much tread on the tire.
Yeah.
I think that the Jaguars and the rock fight that they just recently had, I think they took a lot of swipes at that tree on Josh Allen with all those hits for the Broncos.
Well, to your point, and it's a good one, the Bills last week are where the Broncos are this week, but the Broncos are doing it at home on a week's rest. Right. So the advantages that they have are myriad, at least in my point of view. And yes, we saw Jacksonville and Denver with our own eyes, how physical that game was in the regular season 4 weeks ago. You know damn good and well that the body blows that the Bills were taking in that game against Jacksonville have a cumulative effect. You've already gone through the litany of players that are out this week.
Right.
Yes, that is part of the advantage that the Broncos have. And it's on them if they don't take advantage of said advantage. You're physically in as good a shape as you can be in this deep into the season. Boy, it'd be nice to have Dobbins in the running game, but you know what? Every team faces a key cog that's no longer there. You've got this opportunity against a football team. And look, I mean, how many times did Josh Allen throw a ball and bang his fingers against a helmet? I mean, it was like 2 or 3. Those little things have a cumulative effect as well. Don't think that they don't when you're gripping a football. So there are lots of things here, but I will say this. Josh Allen is one tough SOB, and all Josh Allen does is play football. And all we've ever seen from Josh Allen is, hey, what time do we play? I'll be there. That's part of what they draw on.
It's funny.
Toughness.
We talked. Knox is more of a blocker, although he can catch the ball. Kincaid is more of a pass catcher.
Right. Yeah, no question.
I am wondering with the Broncos pass rush, how effective those tight ends might be, because those tight ends might have to stay on the offensive line to block Benito and Cooper and Ellis and whoever else is going to be rushing the pass.
That's what everyone's been doing. Everyone's been leaving extra guys in to chip or to double. Both of those guys, not only Nick Benito, but Cooper as well. I mean, you got 2 guys coming. I mean, it's probably not as good as the 1-2 punch that the Texans have from the outside, but it's a pretty close second, probably. And I think that those guys are going to be huge this week. Huge. Anything that you can do to hurry the clock of a quarterback is a great advantage for you this week. And the Broncos, I think that you unload the barrels this week, Eric. You got to win this football game, period. You got to win this game in a shootout. You got to win this game in a tight one. You got to win this game in the last minute and a half, 2 minutes. I don't care how you do it. You've got to get to the AFC Championship the next week to get a chance to go to the Super Bowl. This is what you play for. There is nothing else. You play to win this game in any shape or fashion that you can win it with.
Well, if the Broncos don't win, your television career is over.
Yeah. How lucky for all of those that have had to watch over the years. And believe me, I say that with total.
Well, explain why I said that.
Well, this will be it for me. It's 40-some years of working in media, television, radio, etc. I will be moving on to Oregon, where I have decided to retire. And although my life will be spent a lot between Bandon, Oregon, and Las Vegas, which is where my wife works at Allegiant Stadium, and she has.
Oh, wait. You had told me you're going to Vegas to spend your 401k money and try and double it.
Well, it wouldn't be spending it; it would be wasting it. I mean, we know how.
No. Be positive.
Things work.
Be positive. You're investing it.
I will. Well,
on a little ball where you're investing your 401k
yes.
in a little white ball
yes.
that is spinning around a circle.
Yes.
Hoping it comes up red.
You are exactly right. I fortunately have gone through that stage of my life and probably will be able to avoid that. So, but we'll see. But yeah, it's just the next pivot point in my life. I've had pivot points like this before that I've always sought out and enjoyed. I like to have what is the next thing coming up for me and at least my wife and I, and we figure that out together. There's a lot of exciting things happening in our lives right now. But obviously I'm going to miss, there's going to be the time that we spend together, you and I and Alex, has been very valuable over the years. There's no question about that. We will leave this thing in extremely good hands, and which I'm really excited to be able to follow from afar. But yeah, it's no big deal. It's the next thing, and it's the most. And it's what I'm looking forward to. So within the next couple of weeks, there will be a change here, and we'll move on, and everyone will go about their business.
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.